Oh my god, he crashed the game. What kind of power does he have? Oh. That's not cool. Oh, yo, he doesn't even use his... Oh, Jesus. Whoa, dude. Okay. Okay. Let's put you on him. Oh, this actually might be a little bit tough because I didn't bring 2 tanks. Are there 4? No, there's 2. What are these things? Wodaka's headsman, Wodaka's judge. That does not sound friendly. What's this do again? Let's do that. Let's do Wilting Wind. Can I get them both? Oh, that's gonna hit. Wait, okay, let's do it like there. We gotta slow this down.
Hey.
You just go ahead and start blasting.
Curses. That's not very helpful.
Oh, dude, there's some specialty things going on here. Hold on now. Let's do this one. Boom. No, everyone on. Oh, they both died.
My thoughts.
Oh, he's confused. Wait, he is?
Curses.
Oh, shit. No, no, you took my healer. That's... Ah! I need that guy. No, you keep fighting. You go ahead and heal. Yo, who is confusing these folks? 2, 1, 0. Boom. Okay, now we need to take you and put on our anti-confusion. There we go. All right, now let's also go ahead and bless. Did we bless already? We did. So let's go ahead and give the accuracy blessing. Oh, Cohh died. Shit, what's even... There's a lot of damage coming from somewhere, and I'm not sure where it is exactly. Let's do a heal real quick. Man, this is a pretty tough fight, even on this easier difficulty. Let's go ahead and get this up.
My thoughts were dull.
There we go. Let's go ahead and get Cohh up. Aloth, we need to start casting some heavy stuff with you. Now, I don't think we can't stun him, can we? Let's find out.
Ain't seen the little guy go.
No, I don't think we can. But we're gonna keep. Actually, let's blast him with. Don't we have? Yeah, let's blast him with this. How you doing? How you doing with stuff? 14. Oh Lord. Oh damn! They're starting to get confused again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just got healed for like 190 something. Okay, on him. Did he not get hit by the... What are you? Wait, you're confused and you have the thing on you that makes it so you can't be confused? Oh, no, confusion is different. Which one's confusion? That's charmed and dominated. Are you confusion? No, you're paralyzed, petrify. Daze confused. There we go, there we go, there we go.
Oh, that's good.
Did that not hit him?
Try that again and I'll...
Okay. I'm gonna put a ray in his face. Damn, bro, he is just frying him. There we go! Nice! Alright. Hell yeah, dude. At your feet rests the body of Theos. Tyler says, easier difficulty. I find normal hard, mate, and you on hard mode with this. Easier difficulty for shame, for shame. Oh, no, no, Tyler, we're playing on hard. We're not playing easier. We're playing on hard. Yeah, I'm sorry. I may have said that wrong. Hollow, the dense, wrinkled shape by the silent shouldering of an eternal burden now smothered across his color-drained face. His soul remains still for a moment, defenseless, its energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across his body like a death shroud.
That's the servant down, and the mistress still to go. A good start, worthy of being built upon.
Yeah, we're going to play hardest difficulty for the next one. Yep.
I hope this is the end, but what's to stop him from being born again with the same ill intent? And before you suggest the option, no, I'm not eating his soul. I'll put almost anything in my mouth, but not that.
Thousands of souls he has tortured. Would that he could live those sufferings 1,000 times himself.
Some point, you have to look at the things your god is telling you to do. Ask yourself if it's worth it.
Good point, Adair.
He spent his lives, more than any of us will ever know. For what? Binding the world to a lie. Could a man like that ever be redeemed?
Explore his soul. With a deep breath, you plunge into Theos' soul. And where in Brackenberry it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, now it is expansive and borderless, its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Engwith as you pass through them. You travel for what seems like ages, rushing to a known destination, a memory you glimpsed once before. At last you see it, no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first, then quickly as you near. You come out in the room you are standing in now, but it is new and pristine and filled with people, thousands of them, all turned towards the great Adra-pillar at the machine and the machine that encases it. Theos stands at the machine, and you are one with him now. You look out at the crowd, at the faces of shriveled old men and cherub-cheeked little girls, at mothers bouncing infants to quiet them, and fathers clasping their children's restless hands and watching you with somber acceptance. A woman with tears in her eyes gives you a small nod. You turn back towards the machine, your breast constricted beneath the weight of unwanted knowledge, preparing yourself to set out alone on a journey without end. You close your eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of you, beckoning. You take your place in the front of it and place your hands upon a large mechanical disc at the base of the great crystal column and speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors through the platform beneath you. The entire room shakes. Now with the force of the accelerating machine, all sounds drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. Brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillar in all directions, and you look over your shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one, the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where people once stood, many of them disintegrating into gray heaps under the stress of the tremors. You look above the Adra-pillar, and a glowing spherical mass has begun to coalesce atop the column where the arcs converge. It grows and pulses, translucent and bulbous, like some immense chrysalis suspended in slow rotation, as though it were being spun from the arcs of light. Are they creating a god? When the last arc disappears, the spectral mass hangs a moment, no longer rotating so bright you must shield your eyes with an outstretched hand, and it seems to you as though it was looking at you. You bow your head in acknowledgement and look back up to see it melt into the pillar like warm candle wax. The pillar flares with a flash of light bright as the sun itself, then fades to darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echo of its grinding cogs pass, the chamber is still and you are alone. From all sides, reality begins to bleed in through the memory, and you find yourself in your own skin once more, looking down on Theos' lifeless body. Oh. You sense a listlessness to Theos' soul, an overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape and makes it vulnerable to manipulation. You feel as though your victory has given you some kind of hold over it and that you're able to do with it as you please. I like 4, but let's be honest, that's exactly what Grieving Mother was doing. Oh, I like 3. I like 3. I think we're going to do 3. I think we're gonna do 3. We're doing 3.
To apply the teachings of Durance would more immediately satisfy the cravings in my bones. But this is the stronger lesson, for his soul is already marked by his own hand.
Oh no. This is not this is not what we're deciding to do with everything. This is what we're deciding to do with Theos. This is not the gods thing. You regard Theos' soul still, at least I don't think it is. Him. You regard Theos' soul still and subdued, and your pronouncement seems to empower your spirit. Your will seems to you now a thick chain, and you wind it around Theos, constricting all movement, eliminating any possible last means of resistance. You call to mind the eternal prison, the vast empty cavern in its cells of Adra, vacated by souls that chose to betray themselves in order to escape an infinite abyss of hopeless self-reflection. You choose a vacant pillar and pour your consciousness into it, creating a perfect, inescapable hollow with space for one. And now you gather up Theos' soul and bear it into the pillar like some bodiless jailer conjured by justice itself. You can feel its resistance now, the abject terror radiating from it, but your binding will not be broken. When at last it is sealed away and you begin to recede back into your center, you could almost swear you hear a distant, wordless cry for mercy. In the stillness that follows, a single word echoes through your mind, a word you spoke when you were one with the Theos in ancient memory. You realize it is the word that activates the machine. Wow. So cool, man. So cool. Colorado Clint, thanks for your sub, buddy. Welcome to our community. Thank you for it. Also, sip. We're going right down the line, boys. Get comfy.
Astounding. I always knew the leaden key stood for something big, but I didn't quite realize what I'd gotten myself into. And now, you're in the middle of something even bigger. With a decision that will affect millions. But even if you send the souls somewhere specific now, who knows what the next turn of the wheel will make of them? We can't really control what happens to them. Nor should we try. I had to see the monster Theos had become to realize that.
Maybe so.
It's your decision, of course. And whatever you decide, I'm glad our paths crossed in Gilded Vale.
It's been a pleasure, Loth. It has been a pleasure.
The end of the road greets us at last. You fared well, Watcher. Better than any Watcher has right to. Seems you were a field in need of a flame's cleansing. Would that my own trial had produced such an outcome. I had figured myself for the field all this time. But you were the field, and I the darkness. A lesson neither of Durance nor of Margaret. But with that trial's end, a new one begins. A god's trial. And I will stand in judgment without mercy.
Well, there are no gods, but yeah, that's cool. You do you, Durance.
Victory looks good on you. There was a blur about your soul that lingers no more. Seems putting Theos to rest has given you some measure of inner peace. Of course, now you need to decide what to do with these trapped souls. So many hopes and dreams, all of them torn from the cycle and trapped for Wall knows how long. You could set them free, nowhere in particular. Just free to go Wall knows where. Think of how many new lives and new journeys could start this very moment. It's all in your hands.
And think of how dumb that sounds if you say it out loud.
I know you are the right person to decide the fate of so many. You helped bring me closer to WoW, and I believe WoW delivered you to this moment, this decision. It has been an honor to be along for the journey.
You were one of my favorite companions, buddy.
Theos may be gone, but his crimes, the wounds he has inflicted, remain. And yet, if we would free ourselves from his legacy, you must first free the souls he has trapped. His work cannot be undone. Chaining these souls to broken lives will only prolong it.
Wait, what? Is she saying she doesn't want me to do what Hylia said? Or am I not understanding this? I'm going to do your right.
It is not the easy choice, Watcher. But much ill comes from forcing the world into a shape that does not fit it. We must allow for the mercies of the cycle to heal the lost, and live with our wounds for a time.
Oh, okay. No, I think that's better than I thought. Okay,
Theos,
okay.
He
Cool.
had hold of your soul from a long time back, seems like. You get what you needed from him?
I got an answer to an old question. I got justice.
Not many can say that these days. Not with the gods using the world to settle their problems. You'll be feeling better soon then. Good. That's real good. You got it figured out what you're going to do about all that?
I do.
Got a lot of people out there thinking they've been abandoned by their gods. There's not much that'll put the fear in you more than that. You can take my word for it. If it was in my power, and I know it's not, but if it was, I'd find a way to give them the courage to face it. Not because they think there's some god looking out for them, but because they've just got it in them. After what you've been through, though, I'm sure you got your own ideas. Better make it good.
At once.
As you approach the machine, the path underfoot suddenly changes to a cobbled road. If you hadn't experienced visions like this already in Tir Evron, you'd be tempted to believe that the machine had sucked you into it and deposited you in the middle of nowhere. The sun blazes overhead, and the rolling meadows and thick forests on either side of the road could be anywhere in the Deerwood. A shrill cackle turns your head. Skane. Standing next to you is a malnourished man clad in threadbare loincloth and manacles. His entire body is striped with lash marks, and there are scarred pits where his nose and ears should be. He stinks of stale sweat and unwashed filth. You notice someone wandering down the road, but his back is to you. The scarred slave has your attention now.
You know something of quiet servitude, Watcher. Groveling and simpering before the gods whose aid you need, so that when they finally raise you to a place of power, you can seize what you desire. You have labored at the pleasure of others. That shriveled hag in Hadrit House, those preening soldiers with more taste for silk than steel, the wretched tribesmen playing out their fantasies of grandeur. And then you cowered and knelt before the gods themselves, begging one paltry favor and receiving riddles and visions in response.
Kind of like you're doing to us right now.
And now the gods give you orders and commands, even while you set out to fix what they cannot. Yet what have they offered you?
They gave me the justice that just made my soul whole. But you know, that's cool. I get the feeling that this is his way of giving you new orders on behalf of his own master. Be careful, Cohh. 5 copper says he's about to sell you on his own agenda. Only Whale knows what that might be. If I were you, I'd tell him the other gods offered us a dozen nubile lasses. See if we can match that and haggle from there. Given the breadth of the iron manacle, it's amazing that he can raise his bone-thin arm, but he does, and he points to the person walking the other way along the road.
The exiled queen is not an ungrateful patron.
You get a better look at the lone figure and realize that she is wearing robes, tattered and singed, but fine nonetheless. On her head is a silhouette of a broken crown. She continues walking. Oh, is that Wodica?
Finish the work Theos began. Strengthen Wodica with these souls and allow her to become the most powerful of all the gods, with you as her favored.
I've been working against Wodica this whole time. Why would she thank me now after I've defeated her most loyal servant? Loyal and weak, Theos proved his inadequacy when he failed to anticipate you. A plan exposed is worse than none at all. But you've proven resourceful, equal to the schemes of gods. Wodica has a long memory, Watcher, for both friends and foes. She keeps her oaths. What do you mean by her favored? The recipient of Wodica's blessing. She has always had a place for mortals of particular merit. If you help her now, she will become the most powerful of all the gods, and you will be the one who made her so. Think of the lifetimes of rewards you would reap. The only reward I wish is the joy of pulling bloody shards from her broken crown from my staff when I have finished with her trial. So says your companion, who's been abandoned by his own god. Do you really trust him to make alliances for you? Helping Wodica would mean the secrets of the gods stay hidden. Safely hidden, yes, from the violent overlords who would cease to fear punishment in the next life, from the heavy-handed masters who would answer to no one. The world needs some schemes. Or are the souls of Kith so pure that you would snap the tenuous thread of blind society? I love that they say stuff like this. I love that they say stuff like this, and they act like the world is perfect because they believe in gods. They act like there's no tyrants and that no one ever steals anything, and it's okay because they believe in God, so everything's good and happy. And it's like, do you realize the journey I took to get here, working through a world that believes in gods? Like, clearly, it didn't work out that way. Don't know why you keep telling me that's how it is. And Theos makes a better overlord. This one is the god of slaves. What would he have left in the world if the world were unchained from his mistress's lies? I've explained the alternative, Watcher. Continue as a pawn of the gods or a partner of one. I won't help you.
You say that now, but when you're standing in front of the machine, considering the lifetimes and the powers that await you, we'll see what you do.
All the evils we've seen going all the way back to the Saints' War, that was all Boudica. Imagine if she was stronger on top of it all. I gotta say this, though. There's a big part of me that really wonders what joining Boudica would do in PoE 2. Like, this is a huge decision that has some serious ramifications. This just might warrant multiple playthroughs of PoE 2. Interesting. It's going to be so interesting to see how far they take these choices in PoE 2. I'm very interested. Loot the corpse. I tried. There is no loot on the corpse. Thank you, though, chat. You think I didn't check that? What is it, your first time in the stream? All right, let's go. Jeez. With your companions bearing witness, you step up to the place where Theos once stood before his people long ago. The great machine lies in front of you, idle, ready. You have seen this machine and others like it in operation. You understand how it works. It is a device for directing souls. As a watcher, it would be a simple matter to influence that direction, though as big as the machine is, it may be the last thing you ever do. Is this why we can't play our character in PoE 2? There's a shrieking of stone grinding against stone as old cogs loosen and begin to turn. You have only moments before the souls will be sent into the Adder vein. This will be your only chance to redirect them. This is Hylia. Yes. You close your eyes and expand your perception outward, taking in the immense totality of the tens of thousands of souls orbiting the chamber. Your grasp on the souls is tenuous. You find yourself fighting to keep them all within your influence, and you can feel them slipping away from you as the machine gains speed. A brief moment comes when it feels as though you hold all of them at once, and their force is so great it feels as though they will tear you apart. In that moment, you dedicate your entire being to bending their orbit, channeling their flow in a new direction.
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last. After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Theos used to enter Sun and Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Terra Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Theos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the souls diverted by Theos were guided back to the vessels originally meant for them. For the first time, parents of hollow-born children woke to the cries of their infants, and looked into their eyes to see them staring back. People fell to their knees where they stood, thanking Helia or Mogren, or even Aethys for their forgiveness of whatever guilt they felt they bore. But for all the relief that had come to some parents, others only found new grief. For many thousands of Hollowborn had died during Wide One's legacy, many by their parents' own hands. for those children, there would be no homecoming.
We knew that would
Yet
happen.
the last hollow birth was in the past now, and those parents willing to risk trying for a new child were frequently rewarded, often with twins. Many felt they saw Helia's hand in it, and the year would be remembered as the year of Helia's splendor.
Aww.
Lord Radric's zeal had brought him back to life once, but it would not do so again. Radric's destruction at your hands spelled the end of his suffocating rule over Gilded Vale and the surrounding area. In his absence, the village prospered, becoming a popular destination for new settlers anxious to leave Defiance Bay after the riots. Without a nearby ruler, it also grew more wild, with many settlers moving on as soon as they'd arrived, turned off by lawlessness that was excessive even by Deerwooden standards. Nevertheless, despite the challenges of living there, Gilded Vale had survived, and would continue to survive for the foreseeable future. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But order was soon re-established by the Knights of the Crucible, who, despite their depleted numbers, had gained favor in the public eye for their role in the unraveling of the conspiracy surrounding Nightwing's legacy, and were quickly reinforced by returning forces from Fleetbreaker Castle. For the Knights, their resurgence marked a return to the tradition as well. Having seen firsthand the dangers presented by dabblers in animancy, the Order quickly abolished the practice internally, preferring the familiarity of their hammers and forges to the uncertainties of Essence and Adra. Their identity rediscovered, the Knights suppressed their political aspirations and began once again to train their recruits in the art of blacksmithing, recapturing the post-revolutionary ideals of Deerwood and regaining the respect of its citizens as a result.
I like that. That's good.
The destruction of the machine atop Ter Noaneth spelled the end of the reanimated corpses in Heritage Hill. Though at first few were willing to venture into the abandoned district, it was soon cleaned out and rebuilt. The district's horrors still fresh in people's minds. It would be some time before it was fully repopulated, but eventually the lure of cheap prime land would all but erase the memory.
It's just like real life.
The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an Animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay, and few Animancers survived the first day. Many Deerwoodens took the end of Widewind's legacy as a sign, both that the gods did not approve of animancy, and that the purging of Animancers in Defiance Bay had been enough to satisfy them. In time, their rage would subside, and a number of surviving Animancers remained in and around Defiance Bay, often taking to the wilds to practice their science without repercussions.
There's nothing we could have done to prevent that.
Renewal brought new vigor and purpose to a god long known for quiet, steady labor. Handicraft saw a revival in the Deerwood, and no smith wanted for an apprentice. Additionally, Abaddon's restored interest in preservation led to redoubled efforts to survey Engwithan ruins. Animancers and craftsmen alike found much to study, but tensions with Air Glanfath rose. As for Stalwart, the Battle of Kairon's Scar only strengthened their resolve to unlock the mysteries of Durgan's steel. And
I could have
build
prevented
new
that. Cool.
marvels with the White Forge. However, Stalwart's ambitions brought them into further conflict with the Raid Serens, as more and more impoverished communities gathered at the border and vowed to finish the work of the Iron Flail. It would be many generations before the region saw peace. The Flames That Whisper clan found a cautious peace with Stalwart, particularly once the villagers heard of the aid the ogres had offered against the Eyeless. The clan moved back into the Russet Wood, and as Stalwart grew in prestige, the villagers formed a tighter alliance with their ogre neighbors. Within a generation, ogre traders visited Stalwart, and village hunters were welcome in the Russet Wood.
How cool!
Maneha never found the Salt Well, but she found a kind of peace in her duties as a gift-bearer, and in the ebb and flow of her journeys. As she traveled and accepted burdens from Andra's supplicants, she saw in their eyes a kind of peace that she had not previously noticed. It was faith. Not that Andra had freed them of their pain, guilt, and regret, but that she would, a little more each year. With that realization, Maneha learned to accept that Andra's ways were as gradual as they were inexorable.
Oh, no, we didn't forget this. We didn't do
fortress
her,
of Cadnua emerged
the monk,
as a bastion of
or
security
the
in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every thane and earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur. The Audra dragon known as the Master Below, her soul now housed in the body of the huntress Fallen Roet, passed out of Deerwood in relative anonymity, her final destination unknown, even to herself. She was last seen in the port town of Rhodes End, boarding a ship, an Audra talisman glowing about her neck. Palagina had gone against the Duke's Bell's orders by inventing a new trade arrangement with the Anamenfath to accommodate the recovering Deerwooden market. With the Deerwood's people still weakened by Weidman's legacy, the Valian republics easily pushed their would-be competitors out of the market. For her outrageous insubordination and audacity, Palagina was banished from the republics.
Whoa.
She traveled north in the Eastern Reach, avoiding Valian ports and entering the ranks of the kind wayfarers.
Whoa.
Despite her bravery and dedication to those in her care, her strange appearance made her feel like
She
an
straight
outsider
changed her
wherever
subclass.
she went. Haravius took his leave of the party and, after his first bath in years, returned to his nomadic lifestyle. With his homesickness expunged, he found renewed joy and tranquility in his wandering survey of the wilderness. For the first time in his life, he ventured beyond sight of the mountains of Glonfath. During his travels, he penned numerous journals and sketches detailing his travels through frozen tundra,
I hope we find
Syrian
those.
desert, and tropical forests. Wherever he went, Haravius left behind stories of the Autumn Druid, a temperamental, one-eyed wise man of the forest, known to bring food to lost travelers, and unusual advice to anyone willing to ask him a question. Adair chose not to return home to Gilded Vale. Still most comfortable far from cities, he settled in Deerford, which, like many towns in the Deerwood, was beginning the slow process of rebuilding. Believing now that it was the obligation of Kith to be the leaders their gods had not, Adair was soon named mayor of the town, and under his guidance, Deerford soon began to prosper. He expelled the last of the Scanites from the area, and drew new settlers with the offer of land, a trick he had learned from someone he otherwise preferred to forget. With each passing day, Deerford would come to more closely resemble the Gilded Vale of Adair's childhood, the one worthy of its name.
Good ending.
When the dust settled in sun and shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Theos Ixarchanon, his former master. He saw where the Grand Master had gone wrong, and what would be required to undo the harm Theos had wrought. With a flick of his wrist, he burned Theos's robe, headdress, and every other symbol of the man's power. Never again, he vowed, should Kith live in fear and blind obedience to an authority they did not understand.
Whoa.
Armed with the knowledge and courage he had gained on his journeys with the Watcher, he set out on the long and lonely task of dismantling the Leaden Key.
Good on you, man.
With the Watcher's goals accomplished and his own vows fulfilled, Kanorua sailed back toward Rawatai, thinking on the lessons his travels had provided him. By the time he landed at Cohh, he understood what his path must be. Standing before the Lore College, Kanorua explained that the tablet he sought had been destroyed, and so a true interpretation of the Tonvi Oratoa could no longer exist. The people of Rawatai would have to create their own. He described the many strange things he had seen in his travels, and announced his intent to pursue the accumulation of knowledge abroad, seeking answers to new questions. True to his word, Kana soon set sail on yet another expedition, and in Cohh, his passionate accounts inspired many to follow in his footsteps.
Awesome.
With Theos defeated
That's pretty good.
and the souls released from sun and shadow,
healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell. She returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the first healthy child in over a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood, and a measure of grace for her own troubled past. Durrance used Mogren's strength only until Theos had been cast from the world, and then swore off her influence entirely. Regret came to weigh heavily on his mind, and a man who had never previously lacked for words or opinions came to embrace silence and contemplation. He continued to wander, penniless and destitute, searching now not for the reason for his goddess's silence, but for a mechanism for revenge. The charred robes he continued to wear as a reminder that he had been burned by his goddess, and not just by the flames of the Godhammer.
Wow.
Sagani experienced the 4 months of her journey back to Masuk in vivid colors. She strove to memorize every moment of her final trip through the Deerwood, Glonfoth, the Valian Republics, and beyond, preparing to tell her village of what she had seen on her long journey. All of Masuk shared in her triumph, and she felt her pride and elation magnified by the joy of her village. Never again did she doubt the value of her sacrifices. After decades as a long hunter, Sagani finally became one of Masuk's most respected elders. She guided her community with wise counsel, and a generation after she finally passed, another huntress journeyed into the world to find her soul.
Oh, how cool.
For you, the death of Theos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead, made no easier by your decision to bring an infant to Sun and Shadow.
The baby? Wait. Was that talking about the baby? Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, there we go. Guys, we have beaten Pillars of Eternity. We have beaten it! We beat it the day before we're playing PoE 2. Oh my god. I really could not, like, in my wildest dreams, I had not planned on this working out as well as it did. That's kind of incredible. So, awesome. Oh my lord. Let's go ahead and speed this up real quick, because I don't know if there's something after this. Oh my lord. Whew. Man, I tell you, what a ride. What a ride. Yes, we're going to watch the trailer. What were my thoughts on this? Incredible. I loved it. I absolutely, by the way, my name's in there somewhere. I absolutely loved it. This was one of the better CRPGs I played in a long time. I had a fantastic time with it, and I am even more hyped for PoE 2 tomorrow. Like, that is... Oh my god, dude. That was so good. That was so good. That was so good. Oh, you saw my name there? That you saw it? Awesome. I believe you. Okay.